The wind from the west the last few days have been like.
Okay, I'll see what happens with this. And if she can't get in, and if that link isn't working, I have another link that Colleen emailed me. I can email it to. I think it's going. It says it's. I know, it says it's recording though. Mm-hmm. It does.
Okay.
Okay. See,
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the February 29, 2024 Village of Lannon Plan Commission meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. All rise and remove your headgear for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to ask that everyone just check your cellular phones, make sure they're silenced, please. Roll call.
Brim.
Here.
Blake. Here. Nellis. Newman.
Here.
Janice.
Here.
Kay Leitner. Here. Gates.
Here. Item 4, statement of public notice.
Has been posted.
Item 5, discussion and possible approval of plan commission meeting minutes from way back 9/28/23. Good thing we got Mike. Yeah.
It's almost like leap year, huh?
Yeah.
Every 4 years.
Yes.
I thought on the VFW when that came up. It doesn't look like we gave them a time frame. On getting back to us with the new plan of operation to include back there.
I believe that's correct. I believe we encouraged Mr. Brandt to work with them to accomplish that, and obviously now it's been considered.
I think to bring that up. At the end of the meeting.
And that's why we gave it them, so I think that technically we're looking for that also. Parties and that stuff. Make a motion, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any further discussion?
Yes, one of the things I want to point out is on the back page, on the back side of the page. It says we motion to approve the sign at Rock Point based upon installation and approval by Commissioner Grimm and Engineer Ben. I don't know if Ben went out there because I never got called and I see it's all up and done.
The sign.
Yep, the rock sign, the platform, it's all cemented in.
Lettering on it? Yes.
The lettering's all done.
Lettering and lighting.
So it was never approved by us. Just so we remember that when he comes before us and wants to get something done, you know, hey, the guy just does whatever he wants. And we talked about landscaping, but I see that he's started to do one dumpster enclosure and that hasn't done anything else, so.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the minutes. Item number 6, citizen comments. Any citizen comments tonight? Yes, Don.
Knew you weren't gonna talk to me. Two questions I have. The board went in a closed session about the water bill at Landon Estates. So my question is, what happened with the 200,000 gallon water bill from 9/11/22 at Rock Point? I'd never seen anything where that had been settled up. Do you remember that Sunday morning in the rain?
Yeah, when they had the lateral break.
Yeah, after they did not follow their developer's agreement for contacting the engineering firm and for getting the turn water on.
Yeah, I don't know if that ever technically hit a meter there, so I don't know that it ever got billed. Probably goes down as a loss.
I think the leak was reported on the yes, report as water loss, yeah.
And what else did you have?
I was wondering if Whispering Ridge ever came back. They were supposed to come back to the last April Plan Commission meeting with when they were going to replace their missing trees along the border.
I'll look into that.
Thank you.
I'm on the board of Whispering Ridge and we are replacing the trees. We just signed a contract to replace a number of the trees this spring or summer, depending on the date that is negotiable with the landscape contractor, but we are replacing those trees.
I'll no longer look into that. Any other citizen comments? Moving on, item 7, discussion of possible action for a revised plan of operation site plan for Land and Stone Products located at 19567 West Good Hope Road for tax keys LANB 00779930002 and LANB 00779930003. LSP team.
LSP team, thanks for having us tonight. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Paul Giles, Technical Services Director at Land and Stone Products. And I have a little presentation. I believe you guys all have it in front of you. That I'll walk through. I don't know if Ben's filled you all in on the plan, but we are endeavoring to really beautify our berm on Good Hope Road. So. And I wanted to give everyone a little bit of a background on how this project started and where it sits now. In 2018, we constructed a new entrance. We came before the Plan Commission and the board and got this approved. And the idea was always that our customer traffic would enter and exit from that. But we had to construct a ramp down into the pit. So as of 2018, our customer entrance and exit was by the Scale House off of Good Hope Road. In 2021, we had established the ramp to our pit area. So our customer entrance remained the same and our customer exit moved to what would become our new entrance. And then 2023, lots of action. We built our maintenance shop and cold storage building in the pit, as well as a new scale house and scales. Installed a wheel wash and put down quite a bit of asphalt to help with the track out. And our customers began entering and exiting on our far east access. And then what we're here for tonight, the plan you all have from R.A. Smith. What we want to do is we want to close our old entrances, our old access points with a berm. And we want to kind of reimagine the entire berm as a native prairie, all the way from our sign to the east to Monticelli's sign to the west. It's really going to make it pop once the prairie comes in, which we've talked about. That takes a little while. In your packet, in both packets, you have a planting list. It's kind of hard to read on the size we're able to print on. But this just kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking at for our prairie blends. So I won't go through these line by line. I can't pronounce most of them. But the general idea is that eventually that prairie will look like this. We've contracted with a third party to help us maintain the prairie. We've learned pretty quickly that prairies are difficult to establish. But with enough effort and time and the right partners, we're starting to see some success in some of our other locations where we've done this prairie planting. So I won't tell you it's gonna be beautiful day one, but our long-term goal is to have a really, really awesome berm that you see when you drive by Good Hope by our quarry. And then you'll also note that we have quite a bit of trees that are going in, deciduous, a mix of deciduous evergreens and some native shrubs. Some ornamental, but mostly native. So these are some of the things we will expect to see in the next few years on that berm. So that's really the end goal, is to make a very beautiful centerpiece, showpiece for those driving by our quarry. The earthwork that's involved includes erosion control, asphalt removal, reestablishing a shoulder on Good Hope Road. All of the material that's going to be used to construct this is coming from on site. You have access to overburden and topsoil. We're going to spread topsoil, and again, the seeding, quite a few trees and even more shrubs. We're partnering with Rams on this one. They kind of share our passion for making things look cool. So we feel that this is going to be a really awesome addition to the community.
But trees going in at the same time as the prairie grasses,
So-
everything's going at the same time, or is it a stage kind of thing?
It's right now, it's imagined that they're gonna go in at the same time, but we kind of have to defer to our third party prairie management team to establish, what trees we can plant this spring, what trees need to be planted in the summer, and what are better planted in the fall. So but the prairie is going to be installed first thing.
Do they plan on removing all the stuff that's down in the ditch? Between where it says berm to be completed and your new berm, there's a bunch of trees, brush growing up in the ditch. They're gonna clean that all out.
They're gonna clean that all up.
So it'll never happen again and stuff.
Never happen.
Okay,
again.
now what about to the west of the old entrance? Where L sign is. There's Schumach in there. Are they keeping the Schumach? Are they getting rid of the Schumach? I see there's a little drain, must be a drain off that back into the quarry there. Is they gonna clean that up, make sure that still flows through?
Correct. Everything's gonna be cleaned up. Everything will make sure it flows. We're part of the project is eliminating some of the dead or dying trees there. So
Yeah, I know there's a few dead ones in there, yep.
Yeah.
Are you gonna put new flag poles in?
Oh, yeah, okay, I will need to put in for the new sign.
we need to put in the one to the new sign. that we're approved
That
for.
was part of your proposal a few years ago, I think.
Yeah.
I know whether your grandpa put those flag poles in before,
Yeah,
you gonna move them or do them?
I think that does that get touched, that part?
Yeah,
It does, yeah.
It does, right?
Yeah. So we'll make a note of that and we'll make sure that we get a
get your
flag
history
pole.
moved.
Do you have electrical up there to light them?
At the new entrance, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. It's gonna be bigger than Acuity's flag or.
Now,
Good luck.
Yeah. Let's make it bigger one.
Ben, how's the height go on that berm? I mean, I noticed they might be raising up about 6 or 7 feet higher than the existing one portion where the entrance is.
Okay, so I didn't look at that closely, but there's no restriction on berm height. It's more of a minimum, make sure that it screens.
So the way we looked at that was,
Plus, there is a limit on slopes.
Right.
There is a limit on slopes.
we are limited by slopes, but also this berm is designed to look natural. We don't want just a cookie cutter. We don't want it to look like we did it. We want it to look like Mother Nature did it. And B, we picked a height that somebody driving a semi truck would not be able to see into the quarry. They would just see berm. So that's kind of how we settled on that.
You can have a road all along the other side of the berm, then all the way down and between you and Monticello.
Eventually,
Okay.
yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the revised plan of operation for Land and Stone's product.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And as a
Thank you, gentlemen.
as a beekeeper, I appreciate the foliage.
Awesome. We do too. We like the honey.
If you need any hives over there, let me know.
Okay.
All right, item number 8. Discussion and possible action on plan of operation and site plan for the Pink Flamingo Studio and Boutique at 20316 West Main Street, Atlanta, Wisconsin, 53046.
Hello, I'm Katie. This is Andrea. We are the co-owners of the Pink Flamingo.
Welcome.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Tell us what you got.
So I don't know if you guys are familiar with DIY workshops. They're meant to bring the community together. I owned one in Ridgefield for 4 years and then COVID shut us down. And Andrea and I worked together at CJM. She's actually my boss. And so I was like, hey, let's do this. And everyone's very excited. In the front of the shop, we'll have a boutique area where we are trying to bring in local crafters, local commodities, honey, syrup, things like that. We'll have some clothing, and then in the back is where our workshop will be. We're looking to have around 26 people per class would be our peak amount of people. Average is like 16.
Well, see, you didn't have to keep looking for a tenant for that spot. You didn't have to create your own.
I have a question, on your drawing here, or the drawing that was supplied, is there a restroom?
There is, so we have a community restroom. There's 2 of them in the back hallway. We have the plans being revised at the architect right now. They're taking a little longer than we had thought that they would, but we did confirm with them yesterday that there is no problem with the amount of bathrooms that we have for the space. So it's not like we're gonna have to add another restroom in our space. He said it's all in code.
And if you're, there's like 16 on the drawing we have now, 16, but you're saying there's gonna be 26, so I think we need a drawing to see.
There
how you're
could
gonna-
be, yeah, there
Yeah,
could be.
how are you gonna manage 26 people in that space?
Well, I've managed more, in the states that I was in before. So we can bring in folding tables and pop them up. Obviously, that is not to scale, and that's what we're hoping our architect will be able to give us so that you can see it. But we were just trying to give you kind of an idea of the layout and how it will be. Our idea is that we would, in the summertime, have classes for kids. We would have a camp, morning session, afternoon session for 2 weeks in the summertime. People are always looking for things for their kids to do. We teach them how to do different types of mediums, art, painting, woodworking, things like that. So it is really meant for bringing the community together and teaching. We plan on having a garden class, charcuterie board, things like that.
I have some questions about, we would like to offer beer and wine. Is that for guests? Are you gonna be
It is.
selling or?
Well, it's for Andrea and I. I'm just kidding. It is for the guests. people like to have beer or wine when they're doing these classes. It's not a deal breaker. It's something that we would like to offer for them to be able to purchase, but it is a nice additive to have. We also have soda for purchase and water that we give out at each one of the classes.
But you wouldn't be looking to deal with the public. That you need a license.
I don't know. Do we need a license to be able to serve beer and wine?
Yeah, you would, well, yeah, because they would purchase the beer and wine,
Yeah.
so you just need a year of, you don't need a full blown liquor license, you just need the beer. and wine license.
There's not a quantity on that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But they'd have to go to the village board for that.
Yes.
You have on your plan of operation right now, you currently list peak number of people on premise at 12, and you just said 26.
That would be the maximum that we would actually have.
So that's 26 customers plus you guys, makes
Correct.
it
Yes, because,
possibly 31 then.
because if I'm having, no, I have enough spot, I would make enough spots that 24 people could be in doing a class, or 22 people, and then it would be Andrea and I. Most of it is, I want people to be able to still come in and shop if they want to. The only time that we have bigger classes is when we're doing, most of the time it's like a charity night where we're giving back. So they'll bring a group of ladies in from a baseball team or a hockey team, and then we donate a portion of the proceeds from that night back to their charity of choice. So that's when we tend to get into the bigger classes. When it's just a normal everyday class, they usually are around the 16.
So the full-time and part-time, would they be in the shop at the same time as all these people?
Not necessarily.
But they could be.
They could be.
So then you're talking about 5 plus 24 is 29 now. So-
We would never have that many in the shop at a time. It would be 2 people in the shop working at a time.
Okay,
So,
I'm just trying to say,
Correct.
I really don't want, if you have 30 in there. Don't bother me, but if someone goes in there and says, well, they got 30 people in there, and you said you only could do 24. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, we're just trying to make sure we're gonna nail down, roughly how many
Okay.
people.
I'll put up, got it.
So,
We'll say 35 then.
I would say 30.
That's square footage.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, 35.
Well, we'll have to see what your architect says though.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep,
Okay, so right now that would be a temporary 30 till we see the architect.
correct.
Temporary 30 for peak number of people. So then we go to the hours of operation, 5 AM till noon.
Nope,
12 a.m.
midnight.
That's midnight.
Okay. 5 AM in the morning.
So the reason why we put that is because I know that you guys have some events that you guys do, like we have the car show in the parking lot. So we were just being overly sharing the hours, because I didn't want a car to be there and you guys be like, well, why is there a car there? I want to make sure that if we need to be there to prep for an event, that we can be there prepping for an event and people not be worried.
So instead of us always telling people to expand their hours request,
They're doing the opposite.
they've gone. Way out there on this.
Yeah.
Well, and it's for the police department to know. Yeah.
Yes, and Chief Bell and I know each other very well, so. He's great.
Don't be mean to chief.
And currently there's no sign application or anything like that.
Nope, we are working with a really great sign company on that, so soon.
You said the majority of your time will be 5 o'clock. To the late evening.
So the majority of our time, we will have open shop hours starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. In the summertime, we're gonna, like I said, offer classes. And if the demand happens where people are like, hey, I wanna come in and do a class while we have shopping hours, they're more than welcome to, because the studio will be set up that people can do that. We're gonna set up specific classes from the 5 o'clock on in the evening, and that's when the peak amount of people will be in there.
So your average time, you finish by 10 p.m. or something like that?
Yes,
Okay,
very seldom have I had classes go past that. Sometimes we have people that take a little longer,
right,
and I don't ever wanna rush anybody, so.
that's understandable.
They have one.
Depends on if you want.
And then I'll be driving people home. Yeah.
One of the more complete plan of operations we've seen in a long time. Of course, Jeff's been here before.
I've got to do it.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then Ben, you had, quite a few things here, right?
Yeah, so most of my stuff is just procedural. I think it can all be wrapped up as saying, in my opinion, it's would be potentially suitable for approval conditioned on getting updated floor plan that's to scale. You know, the clarifications that were made. And I think we said,
Menominee Falls Fire Department.
yeah, Menominee Falls Fire Department to review that and sign location should just be added to the site plan, like, you know, it's gonna be on the side of the building, but just to be consistent with everything else. And of course, it will require a separate sign permit.
And then did you have did I miss it, or is there a projected or anticipated opening date?
We would really like to open May 1st. I have a class scheduled for May 8th. Just so you know.
6 weeks, 5 weeks, right?
There isn't a lot of construction on the inside that needs to be done. And we did already talk to the city inspector and he said it really is just a remodel permit that he needs us to pull because we're not taking down any walls that are load bearing walls. And we're gonna paint and get in there quickly.
The building owners bear though.
I know, I work with them.
Do you have any more questions, comments? No concerns? I'd say welcome to Lana, but there's already here. Right.
I make a motion that we approve the Pink Flamingo Studio and Boutique plan of operations, waiting, well, with the submittal of the architect plans. Currently with a peak number of people at 30, Menominee Falls Fire Department inspection. And no sign at this time.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second, any other discussion? I will just add, don't forget to indicate. The other change that Ben mentioned in the plan of operation that we know where the sign's gonna go, but then that'll be a separate application.
No problem.
That's it, so.
Do you have anything about the beer and wine licensing that we included in that?
If they're gonna, yeah.
They have to go to the village board.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to get that from Brenda. Any other comments? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Welcome, Lana.
Thank you.
Welcome, now you never get to leave.
That's right.
You get to work day at.
Jeff can't sneak.
Watch out for that landlord.
I will make sure I keep them in mind.
Easy. Item number 9, discussion of possible action on amended plan of operation for Circle S Storage, 20040 West Main Street, Landon, Wisconsin, 53046. I think this has come up before in discussion, and I think we are here to basically, the goal is to formally deny this, because it's not allowed use for the zoning, correct?
Well, there's a little history here that the folks might not be aware of.
Well, we might not, but I'm sure you're gonna fill us in.
We worked out an agreement with Mr. Nels Anderson many years ago on a screening issue. Because he had quite a few vehicles and things going on there. And we could see it from the village park and it was pretty ugly.
And we had an opportunity to secure dirt to build the berm. So we negotiated with him, I think it was in your Delafield office back then. That if he would allow us to put the berm on his property, we would then allow outside storage because it would be screened.
Okay.
And that's why you see the outside storage that's there.
Okay.
And has been since then.
Okay.
So now the only thing here is, first of all, I think we should have some dimensions and site plan a little bit more. And then that this area would also then be screened.
So I don't think that anybody is necessarily, I didn't get the impression that we are taking away his ability to allow outside storage to his customers. I
Right.
think the idea is that we are not going to allow it to be operated like a contractor storage yard where Land and Stone Products is gonna haul tanks over there and let them sit there.
Right. But then one of the issues was screening. And because of the B1 zoning.
Well, you know, didn't we put this piece of land, the Circle S in the TIF district here last, or 2 years ago?
Yep.
Yes.
So this is part of a TIF with a long-range plan of the village looking at something other than that.
Yeah.
And I think if we all of a sudden start making a change in a zoning, it hurts all them plans that the board and the village has been working towards. And storing tanks is not a B1 business.
I had a discussion with Edgar,
Who's that?
From then,
that on Slanty.
Oh, okay.
He has no interest in doing this, so. He's not going to pursue.
Storing them there.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm not sure there's anything in front of us.
no, I think I put it on there just because Hector wanted it formally declined. So
I
that was
think when
my
it
only,
previously came before plan commission, I believe it was tabled.
Right.
And to Brenda's point, it's kind of a procedural thing.
In that case, I make a motion to deny Circle S storage, allowing land and tank to store tanks on their land.
You wanna give reasons?
Because it's a B1 district, it's not a light industrial district. And two, it's in the future plans of the village, that's why it was put into a TIF district for development.
Are there tanks there now? No.
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 No, the only place I've seen them store tanks is over at the HM Brandt site, which they're gone from there now as well, because I think we told him the same thing. He
I
came in-
told him the same thing.
came
I
through
told
his
Edgar that my father come back and ask him to make so
plan
that.
of operation. And it's, B2 is what's indicated.
I'm sorry, B2.
So we have a motion,
I'll second.
a motion in a second. And I will, just as a point of clarification, I mean, the village certainly doesn't have any, you know, outlying plans necessarily. We simply saw that as a possible property that might be an opportunity for redevelopment at some point in time, so I don't want to give people the wrong impression that we have some sort of plan for it, so. Yes, sir.
To reinforce your point further, as noted in my comments, it's more, the crux lies more in the comprehensive land use plan. That shows it as planned neighborhood. So it can only be rezoned to a handful of things that would align with that, light industrial not being one of them. So I stopped short of saying there's no way this can happen, but I kind of lay out in order for this to happen. The comp plan would have to get amended, then a zoning application, et cetera, so.
Gotta move.
But this is
To
something
be
where,
truthful, the TIF district on its face doesn't have anything to do with the separate issues of land use and the comp plan. That's all I'm trying to say.
the thing is, though, you want to protect it, because I know when they did the 2020 plan 20-some years ago, or whatever we did,
Well,
the first, what was that, 40 years ago? I forgot, Jerry, we were young then, right?
2006.
So, okay, that's 20 years. One of the first things that came out 2 or 3 years after that was everybody starting to look at it, says, oh, it must have been Scribner's error, you guys meant this, and you meant this, and you meant this. No, we meant what it was supposed to be, you all interpreted it as. So by saying it tonight again, that we have, that you guys have some sort of vision and plan in the village for that property, other than what it might be. You wanna make sure that it's not a Scribner's error in 5 or 10 years from now.
Okay, so I did notice though, just I was going through some stuff with the parks and everything, and I actually raised the question as I was looking at the GIS maps, I'm like, why did we spend all this money on a tractor and an arm and all this stuff to mow this berm out there when it's actually on somebody else's property?
That was our agreement, that we would maintain our side.
Yeah, similar to what we do at Hulk with,
Right.
with the property over here.
Yep.
And is there any that you're aware of, is there any written documentation that specifies the frequency or the amount or?
I will defer to council. Because I don't remember any of it, that we were in your office in Delaware.
This had to be at least 15 years.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And I'm not recalling the specifics, because at that time, the berm didn't even exist.
No, that's what we negotiated.
Built it, yeah.
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 And it took quite some time to construct that.
Yeah, a year. It came when they rebuilt Silver Spring.
Yeah. And we,
Did Bristol help with that?
No,
That was somebody
it
else.
was Peters. They had worked on Main Street.
Okay.
So they contacted me if we needed any dirt. And at the time we were talking about it, and I said, yes, we sure do. And so that's how it got built at no cost. They built it for free and they'll gave us the land and we agreed to mow the grass on our side.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other comments, discussion about this item? Yes, sir.
Might want to consider getting some native prairie established on it.
Talk to land and stone.
Right, I would rather only mow it, just the lower portion of it, but then the weed marshal's gonna come after us, so.
You bet. All grass.
Right, okay, any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I do want to, this isn't an agenda item, but I just want to mention that we discussed or a couple of things that I want us to keep on our radar here. The FW one already came up, so I do want to find a way to get that on an agenda again here. So whether we need to have somebody reach out to Mike or AFW or both of them. How can we kind of start getting that ball rolling again?
We can cite somebody.
Yeah, we could. It'd probably be AFW.
Yeah.
And then, we still, I did double check with Brenda. She did send a letter to Lake Shore Burial Vault about a sign permit. And, I don't know if you mentioned anything about paving that, little stretch of,
I didn't, but I have a
Friends.
whole bunch of other paving things that need to go out, so I was
Okay.
gonna do that as a separate project.
yeah, so again, we discussed, let them know that if they don't get that sign permit application in, at some point, they're gonna face some per diem fines.
Okay.
And then we've got our enforcement efforts that we kind of did some of the planning for last, summer.
November,
Yeah,
we went for a
late
ride.
summer, yeah. So we should probably have that working group circle back together again and start figuring out a course of action there and then fine tuning and stuff. So that was me, you, Trace, Gary. And the chief, maybe you weren't there. The chief.
Should be the chief.
Yeah. So we'll do that so that we can start going through and identifying and prioritizing, enforcement violations. And we can start working on getting them cleaned up.
We anticipate that Saul will be coming back before us.
Sewall,
Well,
I believe we are nearing a completed and executed development agreement. Is that correct?
They were gonna present their financials.
I think they were, the thing, well, for one, it's for the condo thing. that we did.
Yeah,
For two, Ellers was trying to get them to. Right now, the developer agreements with ECT International and the ownership is by Stonewood Trail LLC. And Ellers is trying to get the ownership to also be under ECT International, so I think we're just waiting on. Documentation that is the case.
just crossing a few Ts, dotting a
Right.
few Is. MRO stuff's all been negotiated and
Yep.
and done. All the temporary stuff has been incorporated into the full-blown development agreement and everything.
Yeah, we've prepared a draft accordingly, so.
You know, now where all of a sudden they come at the last minute, we all have to come in on a village board night then. And then turn around 2 weeks later, come back to our meeting.
Yeah, and they have,
I don't believe there's anything action related for
yeah,
them.
I think it's all been already looked at.
This is the laborious process of going through their conditions.
In their exhibits.
Because one of the things I hope, I want you guys to do is to have them restore all the area from Main Street or, from Main Street in about 75, 100 feet in now. To get that all grassed back up now because the whole ditch all the way up to the swale or the ponds, whatever, it's all done now.
Yeah.
Okay, motion to adjourn, we have a motion
Second.
in a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Yeah. Night, Steve, okay. You got a legal question.